It seems like everybody's here, so I'm just going to start. Well, very nice to meet you, everyone. My name is Val, and today I'm talking about designing with dignity, creating inclusive spaces for seniors and their caregivers. So in other words, can grandma use this? My name is Val again. I am a senior product designer at Acquia, and I'm also a lead product designer at the startup called Curo Now. I volunteer for them. It's a group of people that's pushing up this beta phase product. Everyone's working together for this product because we're all super passionate about it. And currently, we are designing the software geared towards seniors caregivers. Imagine a centralized source of truth for family members and caregivers. And at Acquia, I mainly designed this platform called Optimize, which is the platform that scans website for accessibility issues and optimization suggestions. The agenda for today, I'm going to talk about gerontological design, the relationship between accessibility, inclusive design, and gerontological design, and a little bit about the role of AI in gerent technology, and challenges and ethical considerations. And throughout the presentation, I'm also going to embed some case studies from Acquia and Curo Now. And lastly, a little Q&A. So where did this all begin? Why am I interested in designing for seniors? It actually all started with me moving to the States 12 years ago from China, when my grandparents were in their 70s and now they're in their 80s. So during these 12 years journey, I communicated with them mainly through video chat. And during these 12 years, we've gone through 12 Chinese New Years and 12 everybody's birthdays. And sadly, I had to talk to my grandma for the very last time before she passed away during COVID. But it was a really meaningful conversation. I'm really glad that we got to talk via video chat instead of not being able to talk at all. And we also have gone through a lot of technology upgrades. When I moved here, we were talking with burner phones, and now we all have iPhones. So here's something I want us to do before the technical part of our presentation. I want us to close our eyes for a moment and picture someone you love deeply, maybe a grandparent, a parent, or even your future self, trying to navigate a new app, or fill out a medical form, or get support after a fall. What do you hope they feel at the moment? Is it frustrated, confused, or do you hope that they feel understood, supported, and safe? Keep that image in your head for one more minute. And designing with dignity means designing with that person in mind every single time. By the year of 2030, 1 in 5 Americans will be over the age of 65. And now ask yourself, are the systems, spaces, and tools we design today equipped to support them with dignity? So when you are imagining your loved ones in those situations, you might be feeling a little anxiety. That's because we currently still have a gap to fill. I think the answer is probably maybe obvious that the system and spaces are not equipped to support them with dignity. And that's why we have so much work to do as people who work in tech or in every walk of life. So gerontology is a study of aging and older adults. What's gerontological design? A spoiler is that you'll need it sooner than later. And let's future-proof for ourselves. So everybody ages, surprise, unless you're a vampire. Gerontological design, it goes beyond accessibility. It focuses on cognitive, physical, and emotional need. There's some key aspects, which include safety, familiarity, adaptivity, and reducing stigma. The contrast between gerontology and accessibility is that accessibility focuses mainly on the compliances, such as WCAG and ADA, whereas gerontological design is focused on being proactive, is focused on human-centered solutions, such as memory support interfaces or fall prevention. So the example on the right is this Alexa interface. So it's a voice first. So it's not required by accessibility to be voice first, although accessibility encourages us to have voice input, but it's a friendly design for seniors because they might have mobility or vision challenges. The the relationship between accessibility, inclusive design, and gerontological design, they're the holy trinity of thoughtful design today. Accessibility tells you what you must do, inclusive design tells you what you should do, and gerontological design tells you what you wish that you have done in the future. Here's a diagram to show the relationship once again. So accessibility focuses on the minimum standards, such as like screen readers, high contrast UI, and inclusive design expands to diverse abilities and contexts. For example, readability and using inclusive languages. Gerontological design is also a subset of inclusive design, but it's focused on aging specific needs. For example, like simplifying navigation in apps like GrandPad. Here's a cute picture of my grandpa, intersection of accessibility and gerontological design. As you can see, they're a big area of intersection. So here are 4 main areas where these 2 items intersect. First of all, vision. A lot of older adults have presbyopia, which is trouble focusing, and also they experience reduced contrast sensitivity and sensitivity to glare. As far as hearing, a lot of older adults have difficulty hearing high frequency or filtering background noises. Motor skills. Oftentimes, they have reduced dexterity and hand tremors and arthritis. Cognition is one area that's also aligned with the WCAG cognition area as well. So a lot of older adults have slower processing speed, their memory might decline, and also have multitasking difficulties. Here's an example that showcases what accessibility, inclusive design, and gerontological design mean in this specific case. So in a telehealth app, accessibility might mean the app supports screen reader for blind or low vision users. And inclusive design might mean that the app supports language localization or uses non-medical terminology to support users with all levels of literacy or cultural backgrounds. And as far as gerontological design, it might involve avoiding complex menus, interacting caregiver access, or the buttons are designed with reduced dexterity in mind, which means like maybe having larger touch targets or no double clicks or swipes. As you can see that like avoiding complex menu is actually not violating accessibility standard. But it definitely greatly enhances older adults or anyone with cognitive challenges. There are many tools that can help your software become more senior-friendly and accessible. One example is the one that I'm working on, Acquia Optimize. So in this software, you can scan your websites to detect any accessibility issues. There are 2 main areas. So the checklist, we can detect automatically any technical errors, and also we can also generate warnings for what an accessibility expert should look at on their own manually. And another tool that we have within Optimize is to create policy to detect non-inclusive terms and also detect readability. For example, like on this particular page that I took a screenshot of, the page copywriting readability level is below 5th grade, and that is pretty easy to understand for anyone. And next, the role of AI in germ technology. So because getting old shouldn't mean getting obsolete. This is my grandma wearing very fashionable clothes because she still likes to be in trend. In the last presentation, we talked a lot about AI, and AI, as we can see, is a big buzzword that we cannot ignore these days. But how can we harness the power of AI to truly enhance germ technology? And more importantly, how do we ensure that we're using AI for something that's good? And how do we use AI to support dignity, independence, and meaningful connections? There are a couple of things AI can do in germ technology. So one area is predictive and proactive assistant. For example, AI-powered wearables such as Oura Ring. I'm actually wearing one right now. I love it. It helps me sleep better. It detects falls, irregular heartbeats, and sleep irregularities. And also smart home sensors such as Safety EU, you can install it in your home and it analyzes movement to prevent fall or like call caregivers whenever a senior citizen fall. Another area is cognitive support, such as voice assistants like the Google Assistant LAQ that provide medication reminders and social engagement. AI memory aids games can help with dementia care through personalized activities. My grandma, the one who didn't pass away, she has dementia, and my mom actually gives her like elementary school textbooks to read, but sometimes it doesn't render the best results. But luckily we have experts that use AI or other technology to develop games that actually scientifically help with dementia care. I have a video, I hope it plays. Yeah. Do I click this? Oh, yeah. This is a game that I really like.
We launched our app from the Isle of Man, the small island between England and Ireland. A few years ago, my friend Peter and I are sitting in our local pub, talking about our mums. We talked about what they had in common, and of course it was a love of old family photos. I thought, I wonder if we can turn those photos into games. And Peter said, actually, we're turning memories into games, and we started memory lane games the next day. So we designed simple quiz-style games that are dementia-friendly. Beautiful photos that really evoke positive memories and simple multiple-choice questions. If you get an answer wrong, it just gently disappears. It doesn't tell you did anything wrong, and that is errorless learning. So our first game was on Sheffield, where Peter's mom was from, and our next game was on Vancouver, where my mom grew up.
Was there something we had to fix on the Vancouver game?
Oh, I've got a couple of suggestions for you to add.
Good. They loved them, which is great, but we realized quickly we're helping moms all over the world. So we started making more, and it blew up. What we found after running a clinical trial with our friends from the hospice in the Isle of Man,
Can I join you?
is that 92% of caregivers were more relaxed while playing with someone with dementia. And 58% of the people with dementia were communicating more.
Because who was that in the photo?
Was it Groucho Marx?
Yes.
When we started, we didn't have much of a marketing budget. And our traction really started to grow in surprising places, like the Philippines, like India. We've had 100,000
actually just
downloads
Google Play
in
advertisement, so
134
I'm gonna
countries.
pause now. Yeah, so one thing that like is way later in the video, so we're not watching it. One thing that I really like about the game is that it doesn't tell seniors what they did wrong. They only tell them, hey, this is right. This is your daughter, or like, you know, your granddaughter. So I personally really appreciate that it doesn't tell them what's wrong, because that's not what they need. Like, they don't need to be told, okay, like my memory is declining again. All right, the next area of where we can use AI in enduring technology is caregiver support. Some examples include AI chatbots that reduce loneliness and monitor well-being, and they're also predictive analytics, for example, IBM Boston Health, that flags early signs of health decline so that caregivers can take their care recipients to correspondent health appointments whenever they detect those red flags. Hero Now, which is the startup that I volunteer at, is a centralized caregiver app that aims to allow caregivers to keep track of every single detail that matters. There are a couple key features that we have in Hero Now. This is some screenshots of the main screens. So first of all, connected caregivers. So we invite families and paid caregivers to assign tasks and share updates with customizable access control. And we also track appointments, manage tasks, and coordinate care seamlessly in one place. Also, we have guided prompts and tools to help navigate difficult conversations with confidence. Last but not least, your data is protected with advanced encryption and secure cloud storage, because safety and privacy is very important. Okay, now we're moving to the more difficult part, which is challenges and ethical concerns, because it can't be all good, right? Even though AI is this big buzzword. We already touched on data privacy and consent. So sharing health data with caregivers requires granular permissions, just like what we mentioned in Hero. Having advanced encryption is very important to us because we understand how important it is to have granular permission. And there are a lot of sensitive data that gets involved in AI systems that prevent fall or like remote monitoring because AI might collect highly personal information. So that's a concern as well. And lastly, consent complexity, because seniors with cognitive impairments may not fully understand data sharing agreements. Another area of challenges that involves using AI and technology is balancing the autonomy and humanity. When does helpful become paternalistic? So I have a couple examples here. So for example, like overriding control in smartphones or AI locked doors for safety may infantilize seniors. And also over-optimization in caregiver dependency. If AI handles too many tasks, then maybe a lot of the caregivers would disengage and eventually create isolation. And seniors may feel watched sometimes too. That's called surveillance anxiety. One of the solutions, Cherry Home, which is a senior home system, actually has stick figure mode that reduces this kind of surveillance anxiety because it detects fall, but you can't really see what they're doing. You just see stick figures. Another challenge is emotional and social impact. So a lot of apps would kind of have this othering effect, so we should try to avoid othering. Design should like really normalize aging needs and without stigmatizing. For example, having senior mode. And there's also a lot of bias and accessibility gaps because AI trained on non-diverse database may fail to collect data on marginalized groups. For example, speech recognition that struggles with accents or tremor. And also the tremor home thing that we saw, this stick-figure home system costs more than $2,000. And that might exclude low-income families. So what can we do now? Here are a couple of strategies that I summarized. First of all, prioritize consistency and predictivity. For example, if you're a UX designer, designing patterns that are not too innovative, like they should be familiar to seniors so that they can recognize instead of relearn. And we should do more testing with older adults and caregivers. It's not in any of the compliance checklists, but it's good because you only know whether it works well for them when you test with them. And design for reduced dexterity, which mentioned previously, for example, bigger touch target, support memory and orientation, avoid patronizing tone or infantilizing design, and also give user control over personalization. Does it look familiar to any of you, especially for UX designers? It does look like the 10 usability heuristics in Niels and Norman groups, right? And I think this really proves the point that designs that are good for older adults are actually good designs, period. So lastly, before I end this presentation, I just want to remind everyone to not let technology replace us, and instead be there with them. This is a little video of this April when I took my partner to China, and then they were doing Tai Chi together. This is my grandma and my partner. Very cute. Yeah, so here are 2 QR codes that you can scan if you're curious. The first one is to join Cure Now's waitlist, the app that I introduced, a central hub for caregivers. It's not launched yet, so if you're curious, you can sign up for the waitlist if you're taking care of anyone. Also, I'm trying to write more articles on designing for seniors, so this is my Substack. I haven't posted anything, but I will soon. And thank you. We have 1 minute. Any questions? I also think we can stay longer, but any questions? Or
Something that you mentioned a couple of times was non-inclusive terms, and I was wondering if you could give an illustration of what you meant by that.
Yeah, for example, like, so it's not really specific to gerontological design. For example, like gender terms that are not gender inclusive, or like terms that I'm not gonna say them here, but like terms that that might be offensive to marginalized groups.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. Anything else? Well, cool. Thank you for your time, everyone.